Do you still think Sonic Adventure is a great game?
To play, yes. In every other terms, it hasn't aged well at all.
No, it really hasn't. It still has bugs and glitches. The camera's still shit. The character models is just kind of off. DX kind of fixed it, but yeah. And the voice acting is holy shit. The voice acting.
I mean, put it this way: a lot of things that people know how bad Sonic is in 3D. That is the game that started it all. But I would say that we've gone beyond that now. I think we've actually gone.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's been a while since I've replayed it, but I've just replayed it recently thanks to a group of modders and hackers or programmers or whatever we don't call them.
Yeah.
But probably all of the above.
Put it this way, people employ.
Yeah. I recently installed these called the Better SADX mod and Dreamcast conversion mod to make the Steam or PC release of 2004 play a lot better, as well as look like the original Dreamcast version sans the character models.
Yeah, so basically, this is, if you want to play Sonic Adventure in widescreen properly, this is it.
In 60 frames per second with a 360 controller or whatever, and just play it as on a modern system on PC. This is the way you do it. I'll link in the information tab or link in the description to Blaze Hedgehog's video on how to install these mods. All I can say is this is well deserving of an item box and well deserving of any news article out there, because this makes these mods actually make it look and feel a lot like the original Dreamcast game, and it's been a long time since I've played Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast.
I mean, it's funny because I actually still have my Dreamcast, and I do occasionally play, original Sonic Adventure. But that said, though, the funny fact about this whole better version is apparently the re-releases we've gotten so far on Steam and on digital releases are all been based on actually the original DX version of the game, and particularly they had to rework that, which is where this
technically basically, we're spoiling the video anyway, but if you watch, basically we put the Blaze Hedgehog's video just for the how to install and what you need. And all basically, you got the original Sonic Adventure release, vanilla release, okay? That was then beefed up a little bit, pepped up, like new character models, a mission mode, minigame collection. But they changed a few things. They changed the texture, they changed the lighting of it to make it seem a bit more GameCube graphically.
I mean, to be fair,
but it basically is like the spirit of it is kind of gone. It's like it's a better release, but at the same time, it just feels like one step forward and two steps back. And of course, that was then used as the PC release in 2004. This is where things fuck up.
But this is where we get to the state we were in.
Yeah. This PC release was worse than the GameCube release. Like, the controls were off, the graphics were buggy, it had a better draw distance, but other than that, it's just it's like an part. It's like, if you don't have a GameCube, you have a really good PC, then there you go.
Basically, I mean, really, it's an inferior port of another port of a game.
Yeah, it's an inferior part of a part. Yeah. But the problem is that this PC release was the base for the Xbox Live and PSN re-release for HD. And so the common version of this game is worse than the GameCube or Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And from that one was also picked up and ported to Steam. So we've gone from 5 different places, and currently right now the most common version of vanilla SADX is a shit port of a remaster.
Essentially, it's a 2004 version of the game that came out way back in 1998, basically.
Yeah, and thanks to these modders, we actually finally got the Dreamcast graphical textures, the Dreamcast lighting engine, so camera fixes and control input fixes, because the 360 version, or the PC version in general, had a shit input. It had an 8-direction input, not a 360 directional input, meaning the game felt played like crap.
Clunkier.
Yeah, it just did not feel right.
And I know some of you probably might be coming up and saying, well, this is Sega being lazy, but you got to think about this in terms of, again, I'm trying to think how it got to this state in the first place. Because like you said, they ported this to the GameCube, and undoubtedly when they did that, they couldn't take everything they did in the Dreamcast version and put it onto the GameCube because different systems, different technology, and maybe they wrote special things to work only for that system. So when the DX version, it was pretty much, let's make it run for this system and make sure that version is capable, runnable, and suitable for that system. And then, of course, they figure, oh, that works we can just take that and put it in PC. And then it's basically, well, we can just do that version. It's not too difficult. In many ways, it just sounds like they were taking the easy route out. But again, to do something like that, and it's the same with a lot of like the HD remasters or re-releases of older games, part of the thing is you have to really make sure that the source code of what started the whole thing is intact, and make sure that you want to make sure that is the thing you're trying to sell to the audience. And I think the problem with a lot of them has been, really, end of the day, some of them just don't feel as sweet as they were originally on certain consoles or when they were taken from one machine to another. And again, the fact that these guys have found a way to basically figure out, well, we can do this. We can find all these little way-ins to get it to working the way it should be, which is playing a Dreamcast game on a modern-day system.
Yeah, I know some of you may be asking, like, what kind of textures were different about it. I'm going to pull up a side-by-side comparison here of the Station Square. On the left is the original Dreamcast. On the right is the DX remaster, or basically DX Vanilla. They are completely different in textures.
It's the sort of thing that if you were just to remember it if you were just literally to close your eyes and do it from memory, you just think, oh, they look the same. But then when you see a proper full comparison, it's like, oh, they are night and day. And pretty much like, I think the main difference is that the DX one is a bit more brighter in some areas.
It's a bit more grainier, I would say, a bit more realistic. The Dreamcast was a lot brighter. It was a lot more colourful, and thanks to that lighting engine.
Yeah, that was the thing.
But other than that, the DX port, I wouldn't say that if you want to play DX just for having it, like you want easy access to it, find DX on GameCube. Either that or go out and get a Dreamcast with original Sonic Adventure. But if you don't have either, you want something cheap and very easy to install, mind you, very easy if you have the Steam version, get Sonic Adventure DX on Steam and have at it. Because honestly, replaying it with the new mods on it and the visuals is like, this is what Sonic Adventure is supposed to be in a HD format.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, it's funny because, again, when they did Adventure 2, they basically took the Sonic 2 Battle version, again, another GameCube version, and just took that because that's the better one anyway.
Yeah, but that one didn't have any input lag.
Yeah. But then again, that's always the case of, you try and think which is the better of the two.
Oh, sorry, no, the GameCube one had a bad input. That had that duplicated your jump, forcing you to actually hold down the button to make sure you don't jump twice.
Right.
I fucking hated that. I figured there was something wrong with my GameCube controller the first time. We were like, got another controller, got another copy of the game. It's like, no, it's in every single fucking thing. Look at it, fix that with the HD version. The HD version is the definitive version of the game. But again, I would still rather play the Dreamcast.
Yeah. But like I said, when I was talking this with you in the Mania one, was that the idea now is that you can update an old game and try and fix some of the issues out of it. Again, it's very tricky because you're sort of adding new stuff to things that are already preset, and you don't want to offset anything else that's in there.
Well, it's not particularly that difficult, since there is actually coding within these mods that actually replace, like find and replace, basically, and actually work with. To be honest, there's like the common man on the internet right now, like, not an asshole, so to speak, but they know a bit more than than some developers.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, I would never be able to do this type of thing. I have no idea how coding works. I mean, I understand the basis of it, but I wouldn't know literally what to put in or which input would do a certain thing and make the game run. But the fact that these people have figured a way, and this is a great deal, is that we now live in an age where we can do this, and it's not saying you've only got this one copy and that's it. You can't fix it in any form. The fact that these guys have found a way through, that's really the great aspect of this whole sort of making the game better.
Yeah, and actually also preserving old vaporware or such. Like, thank God for good old games with all their library of classics.
I mean, again, Yahtzee said this before. The problem as we move more and more into, with every new passing console, we are getting to a point where a lot of them are just becoming more obsolete because a lot of them need online requirements or certain system things. And it is getting to a point where we're losing a lot of games that, not everybody's going to get a chance to play on. I mean, something like Beneath the Steel Sky, for instance, this was a good story. Beneath the Steel Sky was a popular game of its time, and then suddenly as time and technology moved on, it became unplayable. But then somebody figured out you can run it through the Scum engine, which is the LucasArts stuff, and someone found that way out and put the system online, and it was there for free for ages. In fact, when they did the re-release for the iPhone, they actually used that to make it work. So it was basically saying, thanks to fan help, it actually helped Revolution to make the game workable again.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main draw. But honestly, you gotta be very picky because, Ubisoft, when they made Rainbow Six Vegas 2, the digital version, and when they made a patch for it, it locked people out of playing the digital version, and Ubisoft could not undo it.
Yeah, I mean,
and their solution was to download and use a crack version of the game and pass that off as an official patch for the digital version. So yeah, they used a pirate. A developer used a pirate version of their own game to work around a DRM patch that they implemented.
That's something that arguably companies don't want to say they used. It's like, we used an illegal thing to make this work now, rather than, we did it ourselves.
Yeah, there's been many reports of fan developers, small indie developers, or just part-time programmers who can actually fix and update a game days after its release on Steam or whatnot. There's so many reports of that.
But again, the good thing with Sega is that they're allowing this type of stuff to happen. They're not I
wouldn't be surprised if it actually is a new official release of this, implementing all these mods, and hopefully have a switch with the Halo anniversary. Here's Dreamcast, here's DX, choose whatever.
Exactly. I mean, again, at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want the choices out there for people to play. Either play original style, update style, or upstate style with all the old assets back in. That's basically what people want. It's essentially what people are trying to do with the whole Star Wars business. They're trying to do the despecialized version. It's like having all the original film as it is, but having it all, without the grain, without all the film problems or any of that stuff. But like I said, the great thing is that Sega is employing people like that, and look where we are now. They're actually employing these people to make a new Sonic game.
Again, link in the description if you want to download these mods for Sonic Adventure on Steam or Sonic Adventure PC release. Just go ahead and play. It's the cheapest way.
But that said, though, we can't, no matter what they do, they can't fix any of the bad dialogue.
They can't fix the broken stuff, okay?
They can make the game runnable and playable, but trust me, no matter what they can do, the faults of the game back in '98 are still going to be there in all their glory.
Yeah, Bistro's voice still sounds like he's in a room with no noise cancellation foaming. The audio still sounds crap.
But hey, if it makes you giggle, then take that as a good thing.